Well, hey guys, and welcome to Inspirations for Your Life. It is great to be with you today on the show. Thank you so much for deciding to join me. It really means a lot that you decide to be here. This is your very first time. I want to say thank you, and of course, I want to say welcome. If you've been here many times before, well, welcome back, and thank you for joining me again. It's always great to have you here. If you're thirsty, feel free to go grab yourself a snack, an RO water, some fruit, or anything else that you'd like, whether it's healthy or not, that's totally up to you. So, guys, yeah, it's so great to be with you as we've got one more day left in the master topic before we change. Again, today is April 2nd, 2026. It is Thursday, and it's great to have all of you here with me on the show. If you don't know about believemeachieve.com, well, go check that out after the show is over. I think you will find that pretty interesting. And yeah, you can get short form content, long form content, articles, reels, and so much more. So, guys, without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and kick this show off. So, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. I'm an engineer, marketing specialist, video producer, podcast host, coach, keynote speaker, graduate student, and a passionate lifelong learner. And pretty soon, guys, I will be a published author. On today's episode of Inspirations for Your Life, I'm going to explore how to sharpen your focus, prioritize what truly matters, and turn, well, intentional energy into consistent progress. I'm going to cover 30 actionable strategies to help you cut distractions, amplify results, and live deliberately every day. Again, today is Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. This is How to Focus on What Matters, Series 5, Show 14, Episode 6. So, guys, focus creates results. Concentrate on what moves the needle, and your outcomes will reflect your effort. That's number one, is how we do that. Number two, guys, prioritize your life. So, priorities will shape your life. Clear priorities guide daily decision and maximize impact. I think that's a very, very important thing to do. Number three, guys, cut distractions, right? Remove interruptions to reclaim attention in your life. And of course, the energy, right? I think that's an important one to definitely understand. Our next point is focus energy strategically. Direct your efforts where they create the most value, all right? That's another key important thing that many people forget because they're so hung up in the moment that they forget about all the other possibilities. So that's really important to understand. What you focus, guys, grows. Attention fuels growth. Guard it carefully. Clarity improves outcomes. And know your goals to make smarter choices. Estimate time wasters and eliminate them. Okay. Stop low value tasks from diluting your progress. And I think that's an important thing. We don't always know what a low value task is, but once we figure it out, it's important that we get it out of our life immediately. Focus builds momentum, guys. It builds the momentum every single day. So make sure that you continue to focus. Okay. Consistent effort, guys, compounds into unstoppable action. So let's keep doing that and know that direction beats busyness. Okay. Well, I will say, I'm busy. Being busy doesn't mean you're successful. Being busy doesn't equal progress. Purposeful focus does. Focus creates power. Focused individuals influence more and achieve faster. Okay. Choose meaningful actions. Every choice either builds or drains you. So I invite you guys to, yes, guys, choose wisely. And I know that sounds like something that is a little cliche, but it's not. It's something we have to appreciate, and we have to understand how do we move forward through that. Because I think a lot of people, let's face it, I think they get stuck, and then they're like, "Oh my gosh, like what am I supposed to do now? Like I've gone this far, but where do I go from here? And what am I supposed to do? And if I don't know what to do, then like what's going to happen?" And I think those are pretty much all important things. that a lot of people just don't get for whatever reason. And so, um, when I think about these things, I want to say something very important to you, and that is the concept that we have to be grounded, guys. So again, protect your time, boundaries, preserve your mental bandwidth for what matters. If you just take everything out there, I feel that you're going to get so inundated and so lost because, well, you're going to lose the direction of, where you want to go. And I think that harms not only ourselves, but it harms other people. And so when we think about these things, hopefully they'll get you to understand that focus generates clarity. Attention to priorities reduces confusion. And of course, guys, indecision. Yeah, indecision. That's a real cool one. Energy follows attention. Where you look, your energy flows. Manage both. Less is more. Simplify your commitments to amplify your results. I think that's a very important one to realize. But I think it's one that a lot of people, I'm going to say, they get lost with. And the reason they get lost is because, well, they're not necessarily sure how things are going or how they're transponding or how they're even moving forward. And so when we think about all that, hopefully that can get us to appreciate things like, you know, focus strengthens willpower. Practicing attention builds internal discipline. Remove distractions daily. Make clearing clutter a habit, not a chore. Prioritize growth. Invest in skills, your knowledge, and your influence. Focus creates progress. Small intentional steps consistently drive measurable outcomes. Stay on what matters, avoid tangents, and invest in the essential things in your life. Attention drives impact, guys. Your influence grows where you place sustained attention. And that's not just something I'm saying, that's something that we can prove with science and a lot of different research. Okay. So we have to be aware of that. Concentrated effort outperforms scattered attempts. We know this. But yet people still do that because, like, oh, I think I'm doing something. I appear that I'm busy. So I guess I'm doing something. We're deceiving ourselves, right? We're being illusionists. Protect your concentration. Guard your focus against multitasking and digital noise. There are a lot of companies that want people to work through multiple chats at one time, but you know what? It's actually diluting the quality of the work, the customer service, the client service. And that's a big problem. And a lot of these big companies don't get that. So guard your focus against multitasking immediately and lots of the digital noise. Choose wisely, guys. Decisions aligned with purpose, okay? They accelerate success. Focus produces success. Deliberate attention ensures attentions translate into results. So stay intentional. Every act matters. Act with purpose. Eliminate noise. Filter unnecessary input. And simplify your mental environment. Focus powers action. Clear attention converts ideas into execution. What matters most? Well, invest in high value activities that compound over time, not in one day. Focus defines your path. Your attention shapes your life. Choose focus daily, guys. This is the key. And I think if we don't choose focus daily, we're going to be like, well, what do I do now? What am I supposed to say? Where am I supposed to go? And I feel that's a big problem for a lot of people because, you know, right away they're trying to do one thing, but it's not exactly where you want to be. And that's because it's not going to lead you to your promised land. Okay. It's going to lead you somewhere that's going to be frustrating. It's going to sound confusing. And it's going to take a lot of your energy. Energy, it's not like a cell phone. We plug, our cable in and we charge a cell phone. It's not like that. So we don't just plug in and get recharged. we have to dial down. We have to meditate. We have to relax. It's not just plug in and we charge up. The people we're around actually offset whether we're going to have energy given to us or energy taken from us. Sometimes there's people that cause that, let's say, neutral flow, where they take energy but they give it, so you don't feel like you've really lost anything. Then there's other people that give energy, and then you're like, this is great. There's other people that just drain your energy, and like they don't give you like anything. So these are the things that we have to be cognizant at, regardless of our age, regardless of what discipline we're in. These are very, very important things. I think it's important to understand, what's going on, to what all this means, but it means something pretty important. Um, I know. I know that you get lost, and you get lost because of where you're going. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't understand. They don't understand that whole concept. And maybe this is because people are expecting something a certain way. Maybe. But then maybe again, it's not. Maybe it's because the world's changed. Um, and I think that means a lot to people, right? I think it means a lot because it means that you are somebody that is really about you, somebody that understands and values life. Okay. I think those are very, very important things to understand. And when you understand these things, it's like, okay, now I get it. Now it makes sense to me. But in the beginning, it doesn't always click. We're not given a book to tell us how our human body works or how our mind works. We study, we learn through different types of experiences. And so when we find that focus in our life is drifting, it's not because we want it to drift. No, it's because of a few things. Could be stress, it could be misdirection, right? And I think when we can appreciate these things, our life will basically shift. Our life will basically shift. And I say this to you in a very interesting way because it's important. And I say it's important for one main reason. You know what that reason is? Um, that reason is that people don't get it. Why don't people get it? Well, I'll tell you why. It has to do with the fact that a lot of people are selfish, not because they want to be selfish, okay, but because of what's happening to them or because of something that's going on. And I think something going on becomes this very, very big confusion. And the confusion comes down to, well, what am I doing? What am I about? And I think that's a very important thing to understand. We might not get all of this at once. We might not understand where it's coming from. We also might not realize that, it's going to be more productive if I do one thing at a time. I mean, if I have had times in the past where I'm like, oh, if I do 10 things at once, I'm probably going to be really, really good. Okay. But then again, am I going to be really good? Or is it an illusion? It's an illusion, guys. It's an illusion because, we're thinking one way. And all of a sudden we think another way. But then it's like, how does this work? Right? How does this work? And it works in a very unique way. And that way is to get us to find out ourselves. I like to use a phrase, what makes us tick and what makes others tick. And so, what that gets to the heart of is saying that, we're all different. Okay. And our drums all beat to a different type of thing. And now that we understand that, we can appreciate diversity, differences, cultures. But it's not that one's more important than another. It's that we have an ecosystem of all these different cultures and ethnicities all together. So when we're thinking about focus, right, a lot of times what comes to mind is the microscope, right? And we have to dial in that microscope, whether it's an electron microscope or a plane microscope. We have to dial in the knob or the wheel so that we can get something that is clear in sight. But I know that a lot of people will put on the slide. I remember the very first time, I think it was in, I actually think it was in was it my fifth or sixth grade science class? We took a slide. And then we basically took this sample out of the chemical, and we took a little eyedropper, and then we dropped it on a slide, and then we put a little bit of it was like a little plastic cover we put over it, and then we put that under the microscope, and then we had to zoom in. I remember the first type of microscope I ever learned to use were the ones that were not electric. Okay, they were just the basic ones, and they would just have a focusing ring on them, and you could zoom in. But then the ones after that, later on, they had a bulb in them, and then later on, actually more in high school and college, we had electron microscopes, and those are pretty cool. So when we can see, ladies and gentlemen, that there's an entire world, okay, beneath something that's so small as what do I do with it here? The tip of a screwdriver, the tip of a pen, that becomes so large when we know how to focus into it. But again, the reason we don't focus on things are because of others, distractions, right? Other types of noise in the environment. Maybe it's because of our own way. Sometimes, we need to get out of our own way. You might say, John, well, that's kind of crazy. No, I'm being serious. If you don't get out of your own way, you may not be successful. What do you mean? Well, sometimes we're analyzing things so much that we don't give ourselves a chance to enjoy. And by enjoy, I mean to experience life. When you go outside and you take a walk, you go outside, you can take a walk, do the walk and come back and just go through the motions. Or you could go outside, you could take the walk, you could feel every step, you can enjoy every breath, every scenery, whether that's flowers, trees, grass, animals, even the sense of the wind blowing gently at your shoulder or vigorously at your back. And becoming aware of these different sensations allows us to dial into who we are. You know, I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and I was telling them my book is coming out. And I'm not going to let too much out of the bag about the book, but the book is basically in press right now, and it is to be dedicated to my parents on like the 17th or 18th of the month of April, that is. And then right after that, it will be available for public order online, as well as starting May 1st is when my official book tour starts. But I was talking to somebody, and we were talking about that pivotal moment. It was actually a doctor. It was at a grand opening of our library in town. And we are talking about that pivotal moment when everything switches for you. Now, before I tell you about mine, I'm going to tell you about theirs. So one of the pivotal moments for this doctor was a fight that he was in when he was younger. And that fight got him to wake up and really sense and know who he is and where he is in life. His significant other, his wife, basically, she fell and broke her arms, and that was her special moment. My special moment, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to let too much out about the book. It was a certain point when I was in the hospital. There was a moment, and I'll share that in my book. And that pivotal moment, I found out everyone in life goes through a pivotal moment like that. And if they don't, they're not able to grow. It's not there to harm us. It's not there to scare us. It's there to get us to wake up. It's there to get us to change the way we are living. And living is accomplished by acknowledging our perceptions. Our perceptions, ladies and gentlemen, they create our reality. Our perceptions create our reality. And as I thought about this, I was talking to this doctor and his wife and a few other people. I started realizing that that pivotal moment, not a lot of people talk about their pivotal moment. Maybe people haven't had the pivotal moment yet. But when you've had it, it's like a very big awakening of not only who you are, but suddenly of your capabilities and of how the fact that you've lived up till now, but maybe even going through the motions, you haven't really been a dynamic, powerful, intentional creator. I know it's a lot of words there. Intentional. My book centers a lot around that too, by the way. Intentional doing something with the sole cause that aligns with your core values. Now, your core values don't just get picked because, oh, gee, I think I'll go to Amazon and pick some core values. Let's go grab something that somebody else does. Not a core value. A core value is something maybe you learn about, you decide to adapt in your life because you're like, hey, that fits who I am. It's not there to chase you away. But I realize some people basically don't get that. So the pivotal moment in life is when you have that aha moment. Now, we've all had aha moments, right? But this is different. This is a moment when not only one thing changes, but like your whole life transforms in the blink of an eye. That happened for me in the hospital. Again, I'll tell about that story in my book. What is your pivotal moment? Have you had one? Has there been a defining moment when life suddenly became different? Hopefully became better for you. When you realized that your potential is not limited. When your life is about bringing your desires to reality. Now, this is something a lot of people don't do because they don't work on their own plan. They're always working on someone else's. A wise person once said to me, John, have dreams, live them, and get other people to help you fulfill them. For if you don't, you'll be just fulfilling others. Now, it's okay to help other people fulfill their dreams. But I think if we don't have our own dreams, then we're getting robbed of something very priceless in life. We're not being able to experience things. Focus. What else has focus? Well, if something is not in focus, you can't see it clearly. If you can't see something clearly, you can't understand it. If you can't understand it, you're not able to change it. You're not able to incorporate it into your life. Those are priceless things, guys. I mean, priceless. These aren't things you just, snap out of your head. So I'm going to ask you right now, what is your defining moment in life? And if you haven't had one, that's okay. Be aware for your defining moment, because when it hits, you'll know. And you'll be able to take that moment and apply it to almost every area of your life. That's pretty amazing, if you ask me. Like, really, really amazing. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am really grateful for all of you here. I'm grateful for all your support, and hopefully, many of you and get a lot of insight out of it. Because I think when we can hear and experience someone else's journey, it motivates us to want to make our journey better. Yeah. How can you make your journey better today, guys? Can you listen more? Can you experience things through your sight, your ears, your touch, your taste, your smell, your proprioception we've talked about before? Can you? The answer is not can you, but will you? Everyone is given this ability. People just don't access it. They don't think that they need to do anything more than what's in the box, right? They just stay in the box. I don't know about you, but I don't like to live in a box. I like to expand. I like to grow beyond it. In my world, I like to crush the box and really change the world. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another amazing show of the Inspirations for Your Life. I thank you for joining me today on the Inspirations for Your Life show. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, focus isn't just about working harder. It's about choosing to work smarter, protecting your attention, and acting intentionally. If you choose, ladies and gentlemen, to apply these strategies daily, observe your progress, and watch your momentum build. That's key, guys. I don't know if you know this, but you can catch every one of these episodes, not just this one, but every single one, as well as my short form content, long form content on, yes, believemeachieve.com. So I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Explore more actionable insights, bonus content, and inspirations at believemeachieve.com. Your resource for clarity, courage, and momentum. Let's make your life better right now. What are you waiting for?